Happy Sunday, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Forst here. We have 27 days left of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. And normally as we head into November, the activity starts to drop off a bit, especially compared to the peak of the season way back in September. But out in the tropics, there are still a few areas we are watching out there. We have our next potential Tropical Cyclone 18. Now, the National Hurricane Center designates a low pressure area that's expected to form into a depression or a tropical storm and affect land within the next 48 hours. And this is exactly what is expected with this area down in the southern Caribbean. So as we head into Monday afternoon, we should have Tropical Storm Rafael, winds at about 45 miles per hour, making its way just to the west of Jamaica as a tropical storm, moving towards the north and the west over towards the Cayman Islands and Cuba and strengthen into a Category 1 by early Wednesday morning with winds of about 80 miles per hour, making landfall in Cuba, expected to bring some gusty winds, heavy rain to the area and areas over towards the Florida Keys by midweek as well. After that, it'll make its way back into the Gulf of Mexico, but you'll notice that this continues to weaken as we head towards the end of the upcoming week. So some good news there. So the environment isn't as favorable for strengthening in the Gulf of Mexico like it is down in the Caribbean. There's much warmer waters down in the Caribbean and less wind shear. Now, there's still warm waters in the Caribbean, just not as warm, and there's more wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico, which hinders the ability for these storms to strengthen and can actually weaken them. So that's some good news there. But of course, over the following days when Rafael actually does form, we'll see some shifts in the track, some shifts in intensity as well. So it's always important to continue monitoring the shifts in the track, especially if you're heading to any of these areas in the Gulf of Mexico. But this is the area we're watching right now. This is potential Tropical Cyclone 18 in the area in red. But we also have two other areas we're monitoring in the tropics. Just to the north of Hispaniola, we have this area here, this little yellow area that has about a 10% chance of developing within the next week or so. But you'll see this broader yellow area that has a 20% chance of developing within the next week or so. So let's take a look at the American GFS model. You'll see by Monday afternoon into Monday evening, most likely a tropical depression, tropical storm forming, making its way to Jamaica, so bringing them some heavy rain, gusty winds, and they have a tropical storm warning up for that area right now. Hurricane watches in effect for the Cayman Islands as well. So it's going to make its way over towards Cuba, most likely making landfall by early Wednesday morning. Again, bringing heavier rain to the Florida Keys, some gusty winds, and the western portions of Florida as well. So if it takes this particular track, which would be more to the east of the cone that's out there right now, you could definitely see some broader impacts for the areas of the Florida Peninsula, especially along the west coast. So areas of coastal flooding isn't out of the question, gusty winds as well, but you'll see it's continuing to weaken as it treks its way to the northern areas of the Gulf of Mexico. So some good news there, eventually really weakening by late afternoon on Friday, but still bringing a good amount of rainfall over the end of the week. But you'll also see over here, just to the north of Hispaniola, making its way towards the Bahamas, is another area of low pressure, whether this is a tropical depression or a tropical storm, starting to form and trek its way over towards the Bahamas and Cuba. So even though it's November, we still have plenty of things we have to continue watching in the tropics over the next coming days. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated here on 13 News Now. And for the next couple of names, we have Rafael, which is most likely to form as we head into tomorrow. And after that would be Sarah. Then after we have Tony, Valerie, and William. Hopefully these names do not come to fruition. But of course, there's still time as we have more than 3 weeks left of the hurricane season left. And of course, we'll continue to keep you updated here on 13 News Now for the rest of the 2024 hurricane season.